I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons, my Bibliospran, Bibliohowlers, and Bibliomancers. Thank you so much for supporting my hobby and passion even more. It means so much to me. Hi everyone, Petrik here. Today's video will be my October TBR, and that means we only have 2 months left before the end of the year, before we move on to the year 2023. And you know what that means, right? It means I'm getting stressed out because I still have so many books that I want to get through before the end of the year, and I know with how busy life is and, well, how limited my time is, I don't think I will be able to achieve that. But with that in mind, that's also exactly why today's video, my October TBR, will consist of 10 or 11 books. And again, this doesn't mean that I will be able to get through them all. It's impossible. But with my fluctuating reading mood right now, I think what I'm going to be reading in the month of October will be these 10 or 11 books. And the first one that I want to read is The Gardens of Empire by Jeremy Greathouse, JT Greathouse. This is a sequel to The Hand of the Sun King. I wanted to get to this one last month, but then again, as usual, I wasn't able to get to it. But this time, I will read The Garden of Empire as the first book that I read in this month. The Hand of the Sun King is one of the best fantasy debut that I've read. I really love that book. It is extremely well written in my opinion. I love Greathouse prose, and I look forward to reading The Garden of Empire. I heard that this one, unlike The Hand of the Sun King, now involved multiple POV chapters, and I look forward to finding out how that will work out, because in the first book, Wen Alder was the only POV of that book. So we'll see how that goes. I think so far, from what I've heard anyway, because this one is still currently underrated, the first book and this one, both of them are still very much underhyped and underrated in my opinion. But what I've heard from readers who have read The Hand of the Sun King, also The Garden of Empire, most of them agreed that The Garden of Empire is a great sequel to The Hand of the Sun King. And yes, this one actually starts with a detailed recap of the first book, so I think I'll be diving into this one very soon. And then the next book that I want to read is again another carryover from last month, and this is a reread of The Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. I wasn't able to get to this one last month, and now I would definitely make sure that I get to reread The Forgetting Moon, because Lonesome Crown is being released next month in the month of November, so I want to get through this one. As I constantly said, The Five Warrior Angels is one of my favorite ongoing series right now, and I think if the Lonesome Crown deliver a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy, it will become one of my favorite trilogies, one of my favorite completed series of all time. And if I have time at the end of this month, I will also get to reading the second book, The Blackest Heart. Yes, this is again another reread. In my opinion, The Blackest Heart was vastly superior compared to The Forgetting Moon, which I thought was really good already. This, just like The Hand of the Sun King, is one of the best debut that I've read, but The Blackest Heart was simply better in every aspect compared to The Forgetting Moon. Also, take a look at this cover art. This looks so good. I think Richard Anderson did such an excellent job on this cover art, and also the cover art to the third book, Lonesome Crown, looks amazing as well. I am looking forward to read The Five Warrior Angels again, this time from the beginning to the end. And of course, I want to say thank you so much to Brian Lee Durfee again for sending me a copy of The Forgetting Moon and also The Blackest Heart. Look at this. This is one of the most badass signature I have ever seen, and I always treasure my copy of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart. And yes, both of them are signed, and I'm hoping to secure a signed and personalized copy of The Lonesome Crown as well. And then the next two books that I want to read in the month of October, both of them are in the same series, and these are Age of War and Age of Legend, the third book and fourth book in Legends of the First Empire series by Michael J. Sullivan. I have really enjoyed my time reading through the series. So far, I have read only Age of Myth and Age of Swords, which I finished last month. I will talk about it more in details in my monthly wrap-up. But yeah, I really enjoyed what I've read in the series so far. It is far from being flawless or something that become one of my favorite series so far. But again, just like my first time reading through Rhyria Revelations, I expect the best of the series will appear in the final two books or the final book of the series. But at the same time, I heard from quite a lot of readers that Age of War, this one, the third book, is their favorite book in the entire series. So I'm really looking forward to reading Age of War and also Age of Legend. Also, look at the cover art. Both of them are done by Mark Simonetti, one of my favorite artists. And I think Mark Simonetti has successfully created a super stunning cover art for every book in the series, especially Edge of Death and Age of Empire, the fifth and the sixth book of the series. And then the next book that I want to read is a novella, and this will be the last reread of the year. After this one, I don't think I will reread any books for the rest of the year, and this is for Misborne's Secret History. This is the UK hardcover edition, and this is a novella taking place in the Misborne saga, which I just remember I cannot talk about any details on this one because, again, this entire novella is pretty much a spoiler to those who haven't read Misborne Saga or to those who have only read the first book. Seriously, it is a giant landmine of spoilers. But I've read through this novella twice and I really enjoyed it. I think it is a great novella. The first time I read through Mistborn's Secret History, well, I remember that wow, Brandon Sanderson has a lot of vision, so many vision and ideas that he wanted to write in the Kashmir. And I think this is a great proof. This is another great proof of his vision. This is one of my favorite novella, and guess what? This one is actually signed. Yeah. My friend Sarah went to his signing and she got me this copy. Look at it. I Am Hope for Petrik. It's so rare to get a personalized copy from Brandon Sanderson now, so I'm really thankful to Sarah for sending me a copy of this one. And I have 3 books that I want to read on my Kindle. The first one is Dark Theory by Wick, Welker. This is a science fantasy story. This is again another book that I want to read last month, but I wasn't able to get to it, and I'm really hoping that I can get to it this month. But as you can see, almost all the books that I mentioned just now, all of them are very large, more than 600 pages long. Many of them are more than 600 pages long, and that includes Dark Theory as well. But again, I love science fantasy. I love science fantasy novel, and I hope that I will love Dark Theory if I'm able to get to it this month. And this isn't actually a horror book, but I heard that this one gets even darker than the first book, and I'm going to read the second book in Earthseed Duology by Octavia Butler, Parable of the Talent. I am so looking forward to reading this one. I heard that this one is even better and even darker, more violent than the first book, and I look forward to reading the conclusion to this duology. And finally, the last 2 novels that I also want to read in the month of October. Both of them are books in the Echo Saga series by Philip C. Quintrell. These are Age of the King and also Knights of Eradur. These are book 6 and book 7 of the Echo Saga. I am really close to the end of the series now, and my target is to actually finish the series before the end of the year. And that means I have to read the 8th book and the 9th book also next month, or at the latest in December. I hope that I will be able to read through this one, and then we will see whether the Echo Saga in its entirety will become one of my favorite series or not. We will see. But so far, I certainly enjoy my time reading through the Echo Saga. I mean, obviously, because I'm at the 6th book now. Otherwise, I would have dropped the series. So that's all the novels that I will attempt to read in the month of October. And I know that it is impossible. I will probably only read 7 or 8 of them, or even less, maybe. But again, I will do my best while making sure that I keep on making videos that I want to make. As for the manga series I'm going to read in the month of October, it is again a continuation of the read-along I'm doing with Al from Elliot Brooks. Yeah, this is a continuation for the Full Metal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. So I'm going to read volume number 10 until volume number 18 in the month of October. For those of you who missed my September TBR video, I'm just going to mention this briefly, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of my top favorite anime series of all time. I have watched it so many times and I still treasure it to this day. I think it is a part of me now. And this is actually my first attempt in reading through the entirety of the Full Metal Alchemist manga, because every time I read Full Metal Alchemist, the manga series, I always end up switching to watching the anime adaptation, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because I really love it. I really love the anime. And so far, from what I've read, I think the anime adaptation is still better than the manga series. Even though it actually adapts the manga panel by panel, I think the voice acting, the music, everything about the anime was done to enhance the experience of absorbing the story in Full Metal Alchemist, and I love it so much. But this isn't to say that I didn't like the manga series. I like the manga series as well. I just think that the pacing is super fast compared to the anime, and I'm not used to it because, as I said, I always watch the anime adaptation. So that's all the novels. And manga series that I want to read in the month of October. Do let me know which one of these you have read and love, and do tell me, what do you plan to read in the month of October? As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons.